There are moments in life that pass like any other, then some nights don't just pass, they transform. Some nights carry more weight than an entire year. They arrive silently, unnoticed by many, yet within their silence is a deep spiritual intensity. People who are attuned to these moments sense something shift. The air feels lighter, the soul feels pulled. It's as if heaven opens just enough for the cries of your heart to be heard more clearly. This isn't poetry, it's reality. Every tradition from ancient to modern carries stories about sacred nights. Nights when prayers don't just rise, they fly. Nights when time doesn't just move, it bends. One of those nights stands above them all. This night doesn't advertise itself. It doesn't come with thunder or flashing lights. Its power is often hidden behind simplicity. That's the mystery. It arrives during a time when most are asleep or distracted. Yet those who stay awake spiritually and physically are gifted something extraordinary. It's not about rituals or outward performance. It's about what's happening inside. A whisper in the chest. A stillness that calms storms. People have reported moments of clarity during this night. Life-altering decisions suddenly become obvious. Wounds that seem too deep begin to heal. This is the kind of night that realigns your destiny, not because of magic, but because of divine presence. What makes this night even more powerful is how timeless it feels. Hours move like seconds. Seconds feel like an eternity. The connection a person feels during this night is something hard to describe. Tears fall, not always from pain, but from relief, from feeling seen, heard, and accepted. Even people who haven't prayed in years speak of strange comfort when they engage with this night. Some say it's like the universe pauses, holds its breath, and listens. It's not imagination, it's mercy. A mercy that visits hearts, not just homes. A mercy that says you haven't been forgotten, that no matter what's broken inside you, there's a night made to mend it. If you've ever had a night where you felt overwhelmed by peace, it may have been one of these nights. They exist to restore, to rewire, to reignite what has been dimmed by the world. Most people chase days, career days, wedding days, and graduation days. But the soul remembers nights. Nights when something sacred entered your world and left you changed. This is why people who taste the sweetness of this night never forget it. They wait for it again. They prepare, because they know that one night can carry the power of a lifetime. One night can close every distance between you and the one who hears in silence. Long before city lights blurred the sky, people lived by the rhythms of the stars. They watched the moon rise and fall. They listened to the silence of the night. Civilizations like the Babylonians, Egyptians, and Mayans all marked specific nights as sacred. These weren't random dates. They were chosen through centuries of observation, intuition, and divine inspiration. The Babylonians believed that certain nights brought the gods closer to earth. The Egyptians waited for the stars to align with the pyramids, believing those nights opened gates to the afterlife. The Mayans carved entire temples to track when these holy nights arrived. Each of these cultures knew something that we have almost forgotten. Some nights are not ordinary. They open up pathways that aren't visible during the day. These ancient people weren't just guessing. Their calendars were based on cycles of energy. They noticed that certain nights brought stronger dreams, deeper insights, and unexplainable events. It wasn't superstition, it was sacred knowledge. Modern science is just beginning to confirm what they already know. There are shifts in the Earth's magnetic field. There are changes in brainwave activity during the night. The body becomes more receptive, the soul becomes more alert, and these civilizations built their lives around this awareness. They would fast during the day and stay awake through the night, not for tradition, but for transformation. They knew that heaven listens more closely when the world sleeps. What's powerful is how these sacred nights often happen around the same times of year, even in different parts of the world. It's not a coincidence. Whether it was the night of forgiveness in some cultures, or the night of light in others, these events carried a universal pattern. People prayed, meditated, offered charity, and sought inner cleansing. There's something about night that makes the soul more honest. These ancient communities didn't just believe in the night's power, they relied on it. Farmers would plant seeds the next day. Leaders would make big decisions the morning after, not because they were superstitious, but because they felt spiritually aligned. They believed that when you act on a blessed night, your actions carry more weight. They reach further. We often think ancient civilizations were primitive. The truth is, they were more connected than we are. They didn't have distractions. They had depth. They knew when to pause and when to pray. They knew the difference between an ordinary evening and a divine opportunity. Today, with all our technology, we've lost that sense. We stay up late, not for prayer, but for entertainment. We've replaced sacred stillness with scrolling, but the nights haven't changed. Their power hasn't faded. It's us who forgot. The ancient ones knew. If you miss a sacred night, you don't just lose time, you lose alignment. And once a soul loses alignment, life starts to feel off. So they waited for these nights with expectation. They understood that one sacred night could unlock what years of effort couldn't. There's a night mentioned in the Quran that stands above all others. It's called Laylatul Qadr, the night of power. Many have heard the name, but few truly understand its depth. Most people know it as a night that is better than 1,000 months. That alone is enough to make it special. But the verse isn't just about reward, it's about reality. The night isn't just more rewarding, it carries more meaning, more presence, more weight. Every single moment within it is magnified. A minute on this night can carry the impact of decades. A sincere prayer, a tear of regret, a whisper from the heart, each one echoes louder and reaches higher on this night than any other. It's not an exaggeration, it's divine precision. What makes Laylatul Qadr different isn't just the math, it's the mercy. On this night the gates of heaven open wider. The barriers between you and the divine are thinner. Angels descend, not in small numbers, but in waves. Their purpose isn't only to observe. They carry peace. They deliver clarity. They record the names of those whose hearts were present. Some scholars say this is the night when your future is written, not just your provision or lifespan, but your spiritual direction. What you sincerely ask for in this window can shape what you receive for the next year. The night is heavy with opportunity, and that's why it feels light for those who tap into it. The burden of the world lifts when you step into divine alignment. Many people spend this night in worship, hoping for a reward. And yes, the reward is immense, but there's something more. Laylatul Qadr is not only about gaining blessings, it's about being witnessed. It's about being known by the unseen. It's about standing in front of your Lord, with all your flaws, all your hopes and all your truths and feelings accepted. There are nights when we pray out of habit. This isn't one of them. On this night prayer becomes personal. Every word matters, even silence speaks. You don't need the perfect phrases, you just need a sincere heart. The night listens to hearts, not tongues. And those who turn to it with humility often find more than they ask for. The night is hidden during the last 10 nights of Ramadan. It's a mystery by design. Why? Because the search matters. The striving reveals sincerity. If it were announced, many would wait until the last moment, but hiding it invites patience. It builds devotion. It separates those chasing a ritual from those chasing closeness. Laylatul Qadr isn't just an opportunity, it's a test. Will you prepare for it? Even if you don't know the exact moment, will you offer your best, even without a guarantee? That's where transformation happens. It's not just about catching a night, it's about becoming someone ready for that night. Because when it arrives, it changes everything. Your heart, your future and your place with the one who never forgets you. There's a strange thing about time. We treat it like it's fixed, but it's not. Time doesn't always move at the same pace for everyone. Sometimes a single hour feels like a moment. Other times, a minute feels endless. This isn't just emotional, it's measurable. Scientists have studied how human brains perceive time, especially during intense experiences of grief, joy, fear, or deep focus. And the patterns show that time can stretch or shrink, depending on the state of your mind and heart. Sacred nights like Laylatul Qadr may seem like a few hours, but to the soul, they're vast. That's why one moment of sincerity on that night carries the weight of 1,000 months. The time itself is layered, folded, thick with meaning. That's something even science is starting to acknowledge. Quantum physics pushes this even further. It tells us that time isn't as stable as we once thought. Particles can exist in more than one state at once. Observing something can change its outcome. In other words, reality shifts based on intention and focus. This sounds spiritual, but it's also science. The famous double-slit experiment shows that the simple act of observing light changes how it behaves. That's not just theory, that's been tested. Now imagine a night when your observation, your awareness, and your consciousness are elevated. Imagine what kind of spiritual imprint that could make. These moments aren't empty, they're deeply interactive. You're not just moving through time, you're shaping what time holds. Sleep scientists have also discovered that the human brain at night enters states that aren't easily accessed during the day. During the night, the brain produces more alpha and theta waves associated with calm, creativity, and deep connection. These brain waves are also linked with prayer and meditation. They soften the noise of the world and increase spiritual sensitivity. Some researchers suggest that the brain is more programmable during these states. That means intentions set during these windows have a stronger impact on your thoughts, habits, and future behaviors. Ancient wisdom already knew this. That's why so many spiritual traditions emphasize worship during the last part of the night. It's not just symbolic, it's real. The soul is more receptive, the body is more still, the world is quieter, and heaven is closer. What's fascinating is how much overlap exists between ancient spiritual insight and modern scientific discovery. Thousands of years ago, people spoke of time bending during sacred nights. Today we speak of relativity, perception, and quantum influence. The vocabulary has changed, but the reality remains. Some moments don't behave like ordinary times. Some nights carry an echo, a weight, a softness you can't describe. And those nights respond to who you are when you meet them. When your heart is open, and your mind is still, the night stretches to receive you. It doesn't rush you. It doesn't resist you. It welcomes your sincerity and magnifies your effort. That's not a myth. That's a truth waiting to be rediscovered. One of the most profound aspects of this night is what's written during it. The idea that your future is decided isn't just symbolic. It's deeply rooted in spiritual tradition. On this night, destinies unfold, the path ahead becomes more defined. Not every detail, but the direction of health, provision, opportunities, and relationships. Everything you've been hoping for or fearing finds a place in the divine script. Angels are given tasks, names are recorded, some are lifted, some are honored, others are given a chance for change. It's not rigid, it's merciful, because the pen writes with knowledge and compassion. This isn't fate you can't escape. It's a moment you can meet with preparation, and that changes everything. People often ask, can prayer change what's written? And the answer is yes. Sincere supplication has the power to shift decree. It's been taught that nothing repels hardship like dua. On this night, when angels descend with records in hand, your voice can affect what they carry back. That's not just beautiful, that's empowering. You're not a bystander in your life, you're a participant, a partner in shaping your path. When your heart breaks in front of your Creator on this night, the ink of the decree softens, it listens, and what flows from your mouth can flow into your future. The heavens are open, the scribes are writing, and the ink isn't dry yet. There are narrations from early scholars describing how the angels receive commands on this night. They're told who will live and who will die, who will fall and who will rise, whose heart will turn, and whose will close. Yet it's not done in cold calculation. The process is full of mercy. There are stories of people who had destruction written for them, and through a single act of worship, or a single tear, it was lifted, replaced with peace. That's the power of this night. It's a conversation between the soul and the unseen, a conversation where silence speaks louder than words, where remorse can lead to renewal, and where even forgotten prayers are remembered by the one who never forgets. So when this night arrives, it's not just another date on the calendar. It's a meeting, a divine appointment. You are standing at the edge of possibility, holding the pen with your heart, what you write with your tears, your sincerity, and your hopes. Those are not wasted, they are gathered, cherished and carried into the year ahead. This night doesn't just record events, it redefines them. It doesn't just reflect your past, it redirects your future. That's why the scholars used to say if you knew the value of this night, you would never sleep through it, not out of fear, but out of longing, because everything can change, and sometimes all it takes is one night. There's a pattern in the sky that most people never notice. It's quiet, precise and consistent. Ancient civilizations lived by it. Today we've lost sight of it, but it's still there. The moon shifts, the stars align, certain nights return again and again with quiet power. These aren't just natural events, they're part of a divine schedule, a celestial clock that governs more than just tides and shadows. It governs spiritual openings. It sets the timing for divine mercy to descend. Just like you schedule important events in your life, the Creator has scheduled nights of power, nights of healing, and nights of light, and they come right on time, even if no one is watching. The Quran refers to this sacred timing. Angels descend by the permission of their Lord. For every matter, that means what happens on this night is not random, it's part of a heavenly order. There are moments when the veil between this world and the unseen is thinner. That's not imagination, it's rhythm. A spiritual rhythm is built into the structure of time. Think of it like tuning a radio. Most of the time there's static, but on some frequencies clarity comes through. Sacred nights are those frequencies. They match something in the soul. They carry divine broadcasts. If you're quiet enough, if you're still enough, you catch them. And when you do, something inside you shifts. Many spiritual scholars believe that the earth breathes on these nights. It exhales all the tension and invites peace. Even animals behave differently. The night feels cooler, calmer and softer. There are testimonies of people feeling a strange comfort, as if wrapped in something unseen. It's not superstition, it's design. The world is responding to a higher call, a call that doesn't just affect nature, but human hearts. People wake up from spiritual sleep. They cry without knowing why. They feel pulled toward prayer, even if they haven't prayed in months. These aren't coincidences, they are divine appointments being kept. The soul hears the call even when the mind doesn't understand it. The celestial clock keeps ticking. It's not waiting for the world to notice, but for those who do, it's a chance to reset, to reconnect, to realign. In the same way the planets move in perfect order, your life can move in alignment with divine mercy, but only if you step into it. Sacred nights like these aren't about superstition, they're about synchronization. The soul was designed to respond to the rhythm of the heavens, and when it does, peace descends, not just in the sky but in your heart. Because when you're in sync with the sacred, even the darkest night becomes a path to light. Every religion speaks of angels, beings made of light, messengers, protectors, guides, but on one particular night, their presence multiplies. It's described in the Quran. The angels and the Spirit descend therein by the permission of their Lord. For every matter, this isn't poetic, it's literal. Imagine thousands, even millions of angels, descending across the earth, not in fear, but in mercy, not for punishment, but for peace. These angels don't come empty-handed, they come carrying what has been written, they come to witness what's unfolding, and their presence changes the air. It purifies, it soothes, it opens unseen doors. You may not see them, but your heart feels them. The spirit mentioned in that verse is often interpreted as the angel Jibril, the same angel who brought the revelation to prophets, the same one who stood by messengers in their loneliest moments. His presence alone would make the night sacred, but he doesn't come alone. He comes as part of a heavenly descent, not chaotic, not random, strategic, coordinated, divine. These angels carry records, they carry commands, they carry peace, and they don't leave until the night ends. That's why people feel a softness, a stillness during this night. It's not just emotion, it's spiritual presence. The world is full of beings we can't see. On this night they are closer than ever. There are stories of the righteous feeling a strange brightness during this night. Some spoke of a fragrance in the air that had no source. Others shared dreams that felt more real than life itself. Children sleep more deeply. The restless find calm. It's as if the entire atmosphere is being reset. That's what happens when angels descend. They don't just observe, they participate. They carry up prayers, they record sincerity. They erase sins by permission, and they touch hearts. Sometimes through dreams, sometimes through a sudden wave of peace, sometimes through a tear that makes no sense, but means everything. This descent is a reminder that you are not alone, that your pain, your hopes, your prayers, they're seen, not just by the Creator, but by His servants. These angels don't judge, they witness, they carry, they console. So when you feel something shift on this night, you're not imagining it. You're experiencing something ancient, sacred and real. A visit from the unseen. A moment in time when heaven touches earth, and those who are awake to it, truly receive a peace that the world can't give, and time can't. The Prophet Muhammad knew the weight of this night. When the last 10 nights of Ramadan approached, everything about his routine changed. He didn't rest as he did before. He tightened his waistcloth, stayed in the masjid, and dedicated himself completely to prayer. It wasn't just a matter of increased worship, it was about focus, attention, silence. The Prophet Full Sulam used these nights to disconnect from the world, not because the world was bad, but because the soul needed space, space to connect, space to hear, space to feel what words can't describe. He entered a kind of retreat, a sanctuary inside the sacred. That's how seriously he took it. He would wake up his family during these nights, urging them to join in worship. He knew the gift was too great to miss. It wasn't a night for casual prayer, it was a night of vulnerability. He stood for hours in prayer, reciting long passages of the Quran, not just reciting, but feeling every verse. His tears would fall, his voice would tremble. He wasn't just reading the book, he was speaking to the one who sent it. And that's what this night offers, a chance to speak from the depths of your soul, to bring your sorrow, your gratitude, your needs, all of it, before the one who already knows. What made the Prophet ﷺ's preparation unique wasn't the number of prayers, or the length of his standing, it was his presence, his full-hearted surrender. He wasn't rushing through rituals, he was immersed, he was still, he had full certainty that this night could transform everything, and his actions showed it. He wasn't distracted by the noise of the world, his eyes were on the heavens, his heart was open, his tongue was busy with remembrance, and through this complete submission, he showed us what sincerity looks like, not performance, not perfection, just presence. That's the true essence of worship on this night. So when this night arrives, think of how he sallallahu not with fear, but with eagerness, not out of habit, but out of longing. He didn't view it as a burden, he saw it as a bridge between the heart and the divine. And through his example, we learn that preparation for this night begins in the heart, with intention, with clarity, with the simple truth that this night is too precious to waste, too rare to ignore, and far too powerful to meet casually. There's something sacred about silence. In a world filled with noise, silence becomes a form of worship. During this night, silence speaks louder than words. It's not about how much you say, but how present you are. The stillness of the night isn't empty, it's full, full of potential, full of presence. When the world sleeps, your soul wakes up. In that deep silence, there's space to listen, to the voice inside you, to the pull of the unseen, and most importantly, to the call of your Creator. Many of the righteous used to spend this night in quiet reflection, not just reciting words, but listening, listening to the rhythm of their breath, listening to the thoughts rising from deep within, listening for signs. The silence isn't awkward, it's healing. It strips away distractions, it invites clarity, it makes room for awareness. When the noise fades, what's left is the soul standing in front of the divine, with no mask, no noise, no filter, just truth. And in that truth, there is beauty, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. In this silence, the heart often speaks its most honest prayers, not always with words, sometimes with a tear, a sigh, a deep breath. These aren't small things, they're real, they matter. The angels see them, they carry them, and the one you turn to responds, not with noise, but with peace. A peace that settles inside your chest, a peace that wraps itself around your soul. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, but it's deep, and once you taste it, you carry it long after the night ends. This is why silence is honored in spiritual tradition, not as absence, but as presence. It's a way to hear what's usually drowned out, a way to feel what you've been avoiding, and a way to connect in a world that keeps pulling you away. So on this night, don't rush to fill every moment with sound. Leave space for silence, for stillness, for peace, because sometimes the loudest conversations with God are the ones without a single word.